Dust motes dance in the single shaft of sunlight piercing the gloom of the abandoned warehouse. Rock sits slumped against a crumbling pillar, the memory of Richie's overdose still fresh in his mind. He replays the scene in his head. Richie, pale and lifeless, slumped on the floor, his eyes staring vacantly at the ceiling. The fear, the horror, the chilling realization that he could have easily been in Richie's place. He remembers the thrill of the drug, the escape from the harsh realities of his life. But now, looking at the faces of his friends, he sees the emptiness, the futility of this lifestyle. He sees a reflection of himself in Richie, a warning of the path he is on. He won't let this happen to him. He won't let his life be defined by drugs and violence. He stands up, his movements deliberate. He walks towards the leader of the gang, a hulking figure named Big Mike, who is currently engaged in a heated argument with another member. Rock clears his throat, his voice steady despite the tremor running through him. "Mike," he begins, his gaze unwavering. "I'm out." Big Mike turns a look of surprise and then anger on his face. "Out? What the hell are you talking about, Rock?" "I'm done with this," Rock says, his voice firming. "I'm not gonna be a part of this anymore." Big Mike scoffs. "You think you can just walk away? This ain't no game, boy." Rock takes a deep breath. "I know the risks, but I'm not gonna let this life consume me. I'm gonna make something of myself." He turns and walks away, not looking back. He knows there might be repercussions, but he's made his decision. He's going to pursue his dream of playing college football, a dream he thought he had long abandoned. He starts training rigorously, channeling his anger and frustration into his workouts. He pushes himself harder than he ever thought possible, determined to prove himself, to escape the clutches of the life he was born into. He knows it won't be easy. The sterile white of the ambulance interior is a stark contrast to the swirling chaos in Richie's mind. He lies on the stretcher, his body weak, his mind a whirlwind of fear and confusion. "I never thought I'd be here, in an ambulance, on my way to rehab. I thought I was invincible, that I could control anything. But the drugs, they controlled me. They whispered promises of euphoria, of escape, but all they offered was a fleeting illusion of happiness, followed by a crushing emptiness." He remembers the faces of his friends, their concerned expressions, the fear in their eyes. He remembers the cold, sterile hospital room, the beeping of the machines, and the suffocating weight of his mortality. "I almost died, not just physically, but spiritually. I lost myself piece by agonizing piece until there was nothing left but a hollow shell. I was drowning in a sea of despair, and I didn't know how to swim." He remembers the bad trip, the terrifying hallucinations. "I was selling my joy, my future, for a fleeting high. It was a terrible trade." He thinks of the church, the quiet hymns, the comforting words of the pastor. "I started going to church, seeking solace, seeking guidance. I was drawn to the sense of community and the shared experience of faith. I found myself drawn to the stories of redemption, of people who had found their way back from the darkness. I realized that I wasn't alone, that there was hope, that I could heal." Sunlight streams through the stained glass windows, illuminating the faces of the congregation. Richie stands at the podium, his hands clasped in front of him. He takes a deep breath, a sense of calm washing over him. He's no longer the anxious, insecure young man he once was. He's found his voice, his purpose. "When I first came to this church," he begins, his voice steady and resonant, "I was broken, lost. Addiction had consumed me, leaving me a hollow shell of the person I once was." He pauses, his gaze sweeping across the congregation. He sees familiar faces, faces of those who had supported him during his darkest hours. "But in this church, I found something more than just a place of worship and a sense of belonging. I learned that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, always a chance for redemption. I'm here to tell you that there is always hope, that you are not alone in your struggles." The sun beats down on the field, the air thick with the smell of sweat and grass. Rock sprints down the field, the roar of the crowd a distant hum. He's a force of nature, A whirlwind of speed and power. Suddenly, a jarring tackle. He's brought down hard, a sickening crack echoing through the stadium. He lies on the ground, pain shooting through his leg. His football career, his dream, shattered in an instant. Rock sits across from a stern-faced executive producer. "So you say you're a producer?" the executive producer says, his voice skeptical. "What makes you think you can cut it in this industry?" Rock leans forward. "I've lived it, sir. I felt the pain, the struggle, the desperation. I can translate those emotions into music, something real." He pulls out his laptop, showcasing his latest productions. The executive producer listens intently, his skepticism slowly fading. "This is powerful," the executive producer says. "You have a unique voice, Rock, a voice that resonates with the soul." Rock smiles, a sense of satisfaction washing over him. He's found his voice, his purpose, and he's ready to share it with the world. Sunlight streams through the large windows of the cafe, illuminating the warm, inviting atmosphere. At a table in the corner, 4 friends, Richie, Amy, Michelle, and Rock, are engaged in animated conversation. Just like that, I quit the gang. Cold turkey. It wasn't easy, but I knew I had to break free. "Wow, Rock, that's incredible." "Yeah, it was a long road, but I finally found my voice, you know." Channeled all that anger and frustration into my music. "Speaking of finding your voice, Amy, how's the clothing line treating you?" Amy hesitates, a flicker of unease crossing her face. "It's, okay. I mean, the job is secure, the pay is good, but sometimes..." She trails off, searching for the right words. "Sometimes what, Amy?" "Sometimes I wonder, what if I had pursued my sports career? I was pretty good, you know. Maybe even good enough to compete at a higher level." A shadow of regret crosses her face. "But I let fear hold me back. I let the fear of failure, the fear of not being good enough, dictate my choices." "You're still incredibly talented, Amy. You're a gifted musician. You can still achieve great things. Yeah, don't let past regrets define you. Focus on the present, on what you want to achieve now." "You're right. I need to stop dwelling on the past and start focusing on the future." She takes a deep breath, a renewed sense of determination replacing the lingering regret. "I'm going to start taking my music more seriously. I'm going to write an album. I'm going to show everyone what I'm capable of." "That's the spirit, Amy. We're all rooting for you." They raise their glasses in a toast, celebrating Amy's decision and the enduring power of friendship.
You got me addicted, prescription of OD, shaking, twitching, itching, feeling for your love, for your stuff.